Well, I'm actually very, very happy that we're finally here. This is a very unique meeting. Akhtar was helping us to get into more or less what are we going to be doing here this week. And I want to also try to bring some fundamental concepts for me that I think we have to be very aware. This is, as I've been in the Telecentre space for many, many years, even in my early years without even knowing that what I was doing was Telecentre. I never considered myself an expert in the field. I guess that was one of the best things for me because I was never afraid to try new things, never afraid to ask to different people for collaborations, inputs, and ideas. And I'm very proud of some of the centers that I opened more than 10 years ago in different countries remain open. And those people are now very important part of their communities. I want to bring the question of why we're here because this is something that I always ask myself no matter what I'm doing. So why I'm doing what I'm doing. In the case of the work with telecentres, I think this is a very important question today, especially for the reason that Akhtar was sharing with us. I agree. I think that we are in a very unique moment. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world today, and in a way, Tess and I experienced a portion of that during the Mobile World Congress, with 63,000 people walking around trying to make business with mobile applications. More than 1,500 companies and entrepreneurs trying to come up with a new best application for mobile phones. Lots of stuff going in all different directions, many different directions. And of course, you can find there lots of things that we don't really need, but there are also good people that are trying to make a difference and are trying to address and solve problems that are fundamental for our communities today. So the question is why is very important for us, why we're doing what we're doing, and why we should continue to work in the telecentre space. Next. This is for me why. Because we're big in Facebook. I've been obsessed for years in trying to collect reliable data about the telecentres. And I have done all kind of different research and talked with different organizations, coached my friends in the telecentre community for years to introduce technology, software, and procedures to really understand what is going on with the telecentres today. And last year, I came across a study done students from the Washington University. It was a small study, 3 or 4 months of visits that they did in Latin America only. Not even in all the countries of Latin America. They chose only a few. One of them was Brazil. And they took the time to talk with telecentres operators in different regions. And they came up with a very simple formula. And one of the main numbers there was, according to this research, every year in Latin America, more than 300 million people visit telecentres. So when I reviewed the name of the organizations that were included in this research, none of the organizations are part of the Latin American Telecentre Network. None. So, and those organizations that we don't know and we don't work with them already serve 300 million people every year. And that is only Latin America. When you add to that, we can go to the next slide. These are the numbers of Twitter and Facebook today as global social phenomenon. Okay? So, roughly 500 million on Facebook and 106 million in Twitter. So we can argue about the benefit and value of these two tools and platforms. But the truth is that the platform is not really the most important thing, but what it really matters is what Akhtar was mentioned in his words, that is what people do with this. And I think something that is very important and need to change soon for us is that we haven't been very successful in telling the story of what telecentres are doing every day. And that's something that we need to work together and find a solution of how we're going to tell the story and gain more visibility. But also we have to combine that with, again, reliable information, organize stories, create a new system to document what we're doing, and really find the right channels to communicate the work that we are doing today, every day. So this is where we are today as a Telecentre community. And we used this last week with many of the conversations that we had with the mobile industry. And I remember when I was running my own Telecentre operation in Mexico and in India, yes, I got some interesting things going on with the private sector because the numbers of the telecentres that we're running were decent enough to attract their attention. But it's a completely different story when you said that you were able to serve 1 billion people. I used that line, and we passed these flyers to people, and now people of Visa wants to talk with us and see what we can do together. There are Movistar, also Telefonica, they also want to know how we can collaborate and do things together, just because of those numbers. That's what we are today. And I think, for me, this meeting, I would like to see it, and I hope that all of you will see it the same way, as a foundation for this bright image of the future of telecentre, the telecentre movement. I think that this is the reason, because we have a phenomenal opportunity today in our hands. We already have the commitment, the trust, and the collaborations of, and I'm sure, an even large number of organizations that are working with telecentres today around the globe. I believe that these are very conservative numbers of what has been done and what we and the things that we can do in the future. But we need, in order to have a consistent story, and in order to be able to keep these numbers up there and say that this is what we are all about, we need to agree in certain basics, ideas, values, concepts. We need to find what is exactly the main aspect, provide a platform for us to work together, keeping the diversity that we all bring to this room, and accepting that there are always room for the interpretations of how things need to be done according to the people that we're trying to serve. Okay? But at the very least, we need to agree on certain core values. Next. And that's what we're here for this week. As actor, I would like to lead this week of work with all of you, having some simple understanding of what is exactly the area, the space where we all move, and where is where we want to go as a movement. We have prepared as a foundation a set of more simple and more clear programs that we like to offer all of you to participate. But more important than that, I think we need to agree on more fundamental values of what is really behind this movement. What is exactly what we're trying to achieve with this? After I mentioned a few points that I would like to emphasize, because in my experience working, I have seen that it's possible to really transform Telecenters into centers of innovation, and they can become hubs for economic development, social development. Here in Spain, in Barcelona, last week we visited a couple of experiences, and the people who are helping us with the video today are part of one of our findings, where telecenters have been able to reach levels that we often believe that is very difficult or impossible to reach. And there's something interesting in the conversations that we had with these people this week was it seems to be there is a group of organizations that are really busy doing work and reinventing themselves over and over in order to fulfill the needs of the communities they're trying to serve. And on the other hand, we have other organizations that are really busy talking about what we can do. So we need to link these two groups. And I would like to make sure that in the future we bring those organizations that already serve 300 million people into the LAC community, and we bring all the other European organizations that are really busy doing and creating very interesting models of social enterprise to the Telecenter Europe. And then it's our role to spread that word across networks and make sure that other regions understand what is possible. That's the role that we can play. When I first came in, I used a metaphor and how I like to see Telecentre.org as a global organization. I love soccer, and I think that we have to be the best soccer team on the planet. Sometime Telecentre.org will be the one who will score, but my role as a foundation is to pass the ball and make sure that we create the right opportunities for all of you. So all of you can have your moment of fame, your minutes to shine, but we are a team. Telecentre.org can't really do much without the work that you all are doing every day. So you're supposed to feed me with stories of success, so then I can go after new people, new partners. But we need to have certain basic rules and certain standards that we need to agree upon. And I hope that we are now, in the beginning of that moment, where we can agree on these basic concepts. So again, going back to the why, it's a great idea to do this because there's so many people, as I said earlier, so many people that are waiting for this kind of opportunities. No matter where you go right now, it's no longer the discussions about bringing this to the rural people. We have seen here in Barcelona, one of the most important metropolitan areas of this planet. Do you see people that remain disconnected, remain outside all the opportunities the technology is providing today to the people? In the mobile conference, I heard something that I didn't know, and I was really impressed. We all love our smartphones and new gadgets, but the reality is that only 10% of the population have access to smartphones. The rest, 90%, still using very simple phones. So the question whether or not telecenters are relevant, for me, is quite frankly ridiculous. So telecenters, since the very beginning, has been always someone who has been anticipating the end of telecenters. But it's almost 30 years later, and we're still here. Okay, and we're still here for a reason, because we continue sometimes in an easy way, but often in a very difficult way, providing critical service to the community. And I think that we now have the opportunity, because we have access to very clear data, and we now know and can combine the knowledge and expertise of all of you, and we can jump, leapfrog, and make a new proposal for this movement and create a real impact. And I believe that if you were able to work together in a much organized fashion, we're going to see more meaningful impact in the work that we do. And I think Akhtar mentioned something that's very important for all of us to really understand and grasp and mature, which is that we're all part of a much bigger thing. This is not, just the Latin American movement or the European movement or the MENA movement. So we're trying to provide service for billions of people that remain disconnected. So we choose to be here for a reason, and there are difficulties in the work that we do. But together, I think we can achieve really important things, and we can really bring difference and create more opportunities to many communities. The last one, I think. So the practical aspect that I would like to cover this week, and this has also been part of my process of becoming the new ED, and I think it's very important for us to really understand, and for you in particular, the members of the regional network, to understand who we are, what exactly we can do for you, and have one interpretation of Telecentre.org Foundation. Okay, when I first came in, I have separate meetings with all the networks, and with most of them, and I have lots of different versions of the role, responsibilities, and capacity of Telecentre.org. And I also have my own. So we need to get our house organized and really understand that Telecentre.org is also today, because we are now an independent organization, we're no longer part of the IDRC, we also face similar issues as an independent organization, similar issues as the ones that you guys have with your own organizations. So, and in order to work together in a much better way, we need to understand that. Also, we need to develop these, I would like to have a very specific plan of collaboration with each region. There are similarities, but also important difference in terms of the level of development of each region. And if the Telecentre.org wants to play an effective role, there are certain basic conditions that need to be in place before moving into specific projects. And we are going to describe those in details later on. But I think the number 3 point there is what I hope we will be able to answer and come up before we end these 3 days of collaboration. So, and I encourage you all to please think about it. So what exactly are the values, the concepts, the areas that we can all agree and work together? So, and I think if we reach that level of clarity, we can more easily define later what the specific activities we can do together in each region. Okay? So, and remember, I truly believe that we are bigger than Facebook, and we have to prove it. We have to have a much solid message for that. But the 1 million people that are already is connected to us, it's a very powerful reason for us to make an effort, special effort, to develop even better solutions for the communities we serve. Here is a room with an incredible potential of very smart people, very dedicated people. There's a lot of things that we can do together. So this is also an invitation to rejoin Telecentre.org and this effort and our quest for creating opportunities, but meaningful opportunities for the communities that we like to serve. So I wish you all a very productive week.